I really feel like we just ain't got no hoopers. Like Drew is a hooper, but we need like
Mm-hmm.
Chris Middleton. Like I think his run, what he did for us, we appreciate, but I think it's over, man. I think it's over, man. I think it's over, man. We need some hoopers. I really want the Bucks to entertain trying to get Dame here, man. I feel like if we can give up Chris, I would give up Chris, Brooke, Grayson, and a couple picks for Dame Lillard, man. I keep Drew, got
Yeah.
Giannis, get Dame, and I rock out.
Yeah, I think you got to keep Drew for sure.
Got to.
That would
Got to.
be a huge pick because Drew can play that too, like, and even if he wants to play the one, you can put Dame off the ball if you want
Or
to,
you can. Yeah, I was about to say you could get Dame off the
yeah.
ball, so he doesn't have to lie, so he can come off screens and
I
stuff.
guess I was talking more defensively. Like Drew can guard it too for sure in the
Yeah.
NBA. So
Absolutely.
And
like,
then at that point, the spacing is so like
mm,
it's just Giannis' world at that point. Because what like
yeah,
you're gonna
absolutely.
double Giannis and you got Dame? Like
So
what you gonna do?
you said get rid of Brooke Lopez. What?
Ah, you know what? I take that back.
Get rid of Bobby.
That's yeah, because the one oh
Bobby.
you no, I like you think Bobby? I'm
I
the
mean, you got to give up
opposite way.
something. You got to give up something.
Got to give up
Because
some,
I forgot about Bobby Portis,
unless we give up
but I so
Crowder.
I would give a yeah I would give a Brooke Lopez before I give a Bobby Portis. That
Hmm.
dude is
Yeah.
I
nasty.
can see why you say
Yeah.
that though. I can see why. I didn't want to give up Bobby. That's why I didn't say him.
Yeah.
I can't give up Bobby.
Hmm.
Bobby is like
That's
our
what.
Draymond in a sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris Clem's brother loves Bobby because they live. Chris lives in Milwaukee too, and they're big Milwaukee guys, and they love Bobby to a T.
Man, the city
Yeah.
fuck with Bobby. The city fuck with Bobby heavy, man. They
Cause
really do.
Bobby be out in the Bobby be out in the city.
Yeah, he do. He be out here. He be outside. He ain't wrong. He was like how PJ Tucker was when he was here. We shouldn't have
Yeah.
got rid of PJ Tucker.
No.
So we were
Mm-mm.
supposed to pay him. No way he's supposed to be in Philly right now. Supposed to pay him.
No. Supposed to pay that guy. Yeah, now he's kind of just standing in a corner.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what he did before, I guess. But
And Jay Crowder's is not cutting it, man.
no, I can't stand Jay Crowder, man. Like that dude. I don't know
Fool.
what it is about him. I feel like it's just he goes through these streaks where he does not even get close to hitting a shot. Like it's straight bricks, and it's like, man, what are you doing? Like, are you
Man,
really bringing anything to the floor right now?
I know that gotta feel crazy just seeing that ball just boom, boom. I gotta
Mm.
feel crazy.
Well, let's welcome the people on that note. Welcome back to the Kitchen Hook podcast. This is T Bush and T Hill signing back in with our very special guest.
Yes, sir.
A buddy of mine from teammate from mine from Sheridan College, and went on to play some more Division I basketball and did his thing out there too. PJ Posey from the great city of Milwaukee, our second guest from Milwaukee.
Y'all had a guest from
Must be
Milwaukee?
Clem
Yeah.
Robinson.
Okay, okay. I didn't know that. I ain't familiar with that
Yeah,
name either.
yeah. He's So how much older is he than us, Bush?
He 2 years older than me. I think he a year older than you.
Yeah. So he went to Nicolay High
I
School.
know where that's at.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, he's 20 or no, he's 30 now. He hit
Yeah.
the 30 mark.
Okay. He went to the same high school Jalen Johnson went to.
Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about him
Uh,
when we had Clem on. But second guest from Milwaukee, bro. But thank you for joining us today.
Man, thank
It's an
y'all for
honor.
having me, man. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm a fan of the
Um,
pod too, man. Done spent a couple of y'all episodes while I was on the road, man. So
I said that to Bush today on the phone. We were talking a little bit. I was like, the last I knew, PJ was driving trucks. He was really spending a lot of time on the road. So I wouldn't be surprised if
oh yeah, when I
he
seen it,
threw the podcast on
I
once
had
or
to get on
twice.
it. I had to get on it as soon as I seen it.
Yeah.
And I know you know
Well, and then
ball, so I know it's some good talk.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
then Bush was I was talking with him, and we were talking about like how when we have guests on, it just the viewership is way better, and that's what we want because we want people to hear what for one, we're trying to bring to the table, but also what these guests have to say too. So the fact that, bringing people on gets a little more interest. We were like, when you hit the IG, we were like, get them on there.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
because
and
too, it's nice because we have only a certain amount of able to branch out to a certain amount of people. When you bring on guests, there's another tree branch, to get more people to listen, and people are gonna listen to PJ. It's like that know him, and
mhm,
Yeah.
if they like it, it's like, oh shoot, I'm gonna keep listening to these guys. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
yeah. No, we but just getting into what we were talking about, the playoffs here. Bush, we were talking about Jimmy Butler. Um, I want to get your thoughts on what just Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is like, and just kind of him as a player and what he's doing to the Bucks a little bit.
So
Shoot.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, shoot. I was just about to say he turned into friggin' Michael Jordan when the playoffs come around.
Going with the MJ comp, bro, off the bat.
Uh,
That
you know,
man is filthy.
Jimmy. So I'm familiar with Jimmy because he was a Marquette dude. So
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
know how Jimmy can get, man. As far as just like I, I don't know, Hilly. When we was in college, you used to hear that saying, you can't turn it on and off. But he
Mm-hmm.
clearly can turn it on and off. It's clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear. It's like that's one of them players. I feel like when the time comes, it's like a switch get hit,
Mm-hmm.
and he just rock out. It's at that point you can't even stop him. I'm very nervous for our game that we got coming up.
Yeah. We were talking about this tweet that some dude was talking about in the East playoffs, and they were like, well, whoever gets Jimmy Butler in the Heat, I don't want to be that team. And the fact that they got the 8 seed and drew the Bucks, like, that's tough.
He
But
said it after the Hawks, or not the Hawks came, after they beat the Bulls. He's like, man, don't let that seed of ours fool you. He's like, we have a good team. We were the
mm-hmm.
number one seed last year for a reason. We just haven't figured it out yet. That's a tough out every time,
Man, and
in my opinion.
nobody want to see Jimmy and Spo, man. You don't want to see that.
No,
You don't want to see that. And this is
that
without Tyler
stinks.
Hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what's so
What
scary.
what did he do again? Did he
He broke his hand.
broke his hand? That's right. Yeah.
Hmm. And let me get
Oof.
since we were talking about the Bucks before, I was just writing this down. Coach Bud, is it time?
Yeah, I think it's time for Bud to go,
Me
man.
too.
He don't
Me
make
too.
adjustments quick enough. He don't make adjustments quick enough. He don't make
Like
it.
I was listening to Charles last night. He said great point. He's like, why are you not calling a timeout? Like, it's in the fourth quarter on the road. You can't let a team go 13-0 on you. Like, when they get that 6 point, 6-0 run, all right, timeout, guys, calm down. Let's get the crowd out of it. Get a
When I,
play drawn up for like Giannis or something, something easy that can just stop the run. And he fails to do that quite a bit, I feel like.
when I seen Jimmy have what he had 20, 20, 22 at the end of the first quarter, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's gonna be a long night, man. It's gonna be a long night.
Yeah,
And Drew was guarding him. That's why I was so threw
that's the
off. I'm like, I
thing.
can't believe this, man.
Speaking of those two, I wrote this down right before we went. Drew last night had 14, 7, and 4, and Chris had 14, 6, and 8. And they were 10 of 31 shooting to combine. Like, those two need, I mean, I know Brooke had 33 or whatever, but those two need to be. Chris Middleton got to be doing what he did in the finals consistently. Like, that can't just be a one-time thing. You know what I mean? He got to do more than 14 points.
That's the problem. It's Chris done had his run, man. Chris done had his run.
Yeah.
Chris,
The crazy thing is, you could see those spurts where he's kind of
oh,
got that real scorer mentality, and he's really
Yes.
taking over the game. But then it's like he'll just be non-existent out of nowhere.
oh man, it really be out of nowhere. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we can't do that. Like we can't if Chris Middleton is our closer, there's no way how the league is this year. There's no way we win it all. No
Hell
way.
no.
No way.
Mm-mm.
That's not the same
No.
Phoenix team. That's not the same Phoenix team we played.
Oh
So
yeah.
at all, like not even
No.
close.
They got a 7-foot assassin now, and it might not be pretty.
I am excited, just not to get off subject. I am excited at the thought of this Golden State Warriors and Lakers, man. I'm like, I'm anxious for that right there.
Go ahead, Bush. I know you feel
Because I was
that way.
so I wrote these. That was the two other series I wrote down that I wanted to talk about was the Warriors Kings and Lakers Grizzlies. Because first off, the Warriors and Kings, like man, with De'Aaron Fox breaking his finger, I don't think that's going to be really an issue. I know it's a shooting hand, but
Yeah.
like I don't. He's too good. Like De'Aaron Fox is an MVP type player here soon, like very soon.
Really? You think so?
Yes,
I'll
that
take
boy's
Darren Fox
nice.
over Ja right now.
Absolutely.
No, I agree with that for sure.
Right now.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think that Draymond Green suspension helped the Warriors. They figured out like against this team, we got to spread that thing out. We got to have Poole, Steph, and Clay on the court to get us going offensively to start the game.
If
And
not to cut you off, but if Sabonis was, because Sabonis not really hooping how he's supposed to. Like if he was
no,
on it, this series could really be like out of hand right now.
That
I
was a
think
matchup that people talked about before the series started. Like, oh,
mhm.
Sabonis is going to win this matchup, and like it is not
It's
happening.
not
I
happening.
think ever since that the altercation in game 2, I think he's been a little like nervous. Like a little nervous. If you watch his interviews, dude be saying a lot. Like he'll randomly come in and say I think he got a little nerves to him. Like, dang, I poked a bear that
Yeah.
I shouldn't have poked. You know what I mean?
And he's
But
tough. I love
yes,
hmm
Sabonis game. He's tough, man. But I don't know if he's ready. I don't really know if he's ready for the intensity. I don't know if he's ready for the
Kings
intensity.
Kings remind me of the Warriors 9 years ago when they hit the playoffs
That's a
against
good compare.
That's
the
a good point.
Nuggets and the Clippers. Those 2 years, like they were good, they were there, but they weren't there yet. But they had the pieces. They
That's a
just
good
need. I
compare.
think they need one more. I don't even know if they need one more player. Honestly, I think they got it all. It's just now it's all
Yeah.
about getting
They
that
need.
experience.
I personally feel like they need like a Bradley Bill esque like type go like when Fox is off, the bonus is off. We need somebody that can just
hmm
Monk could be
Yeah,
that. Monk could be that. I just feel like he needs to come off the bench though. They need a starter that's like
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Chris Middleton will do
If he's
good.
your guy,
Chris Middleton will do good in Sacramento.
maybe. But yeah, like
absolutely.
if Malik Monk is your guy, your lead guard that you're looking to get you going on the, putting points on the board, you're gonna have those times where you got those lulls. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Because they got the
and he,
defender,
yeah, absolutely. But I
Davion
think Bush,
Mitchell.
yeah, I think Bush, to your point, what you said about Sacramento, being what Golden State was real early on when they started to get good. You're seeing those teams in a lot of different series where these are the teams that have been there, and maybe they aren't as talented or as efficient or whatever you want to say, but they've been there before and they know what
Mhm.
it takes to get it done. So I think there's something to be said for like Steph and Clay and Draymond have 4 championships.
Yeah.
Like
They've been through the
they may
ringer
be,
already.
Yeah,
yeah, they may be the underdog, but they're not really the underdog.
Facts.
I don't care what you say, but Steph gonna figure it out anytime. You're never gonna slow Steph down. He may have with one bad game like where you're like, oh he didn't shoot that well, but bro, Steph figures it out. He's a type of player that
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna come out and he's averaging 32, so he's gonna give you 30 with his eyes closed.
Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Lakers
Bush,
Grizzlies though,
yeah,
what? Go
Bush. I
ahead.
know you had some things to talk about this
So
series.
I know because I bash this. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, P, but I bash Dillon Brooks heavily, like
Yeah.
heavily.
Hold on, Bush.
I saw. Go ahead.
Bush like will pick a player and he'll just go at him for like 2 weeks and then he'll pick somebody else. Like, all right.
But like, well, I mean, I've just never. I go along with what the Warriors say. Like they do all that talking, but they haven't really proved much. But I saw your tweet the other day. You said a team needs to have a player like Dillon Brooks, which I agree. I 100% agree. You need someone like that,
Mhm.
but I feel like he goes over the line a little bit.
Definitely.
You know.
Definitely. He's not from here, man. He's from Canada, man. So I think you got to be a little extra, man. You got to be just a little bit extra, man.
Oh
He don't know no
man,
better, man. He don't know no better. Like to him,
that might be true.
I literally think that to him, he really thinks LeBron James is not that good. I
He
literally,
does, bro.
I,
He
I
does.
literally think
Oh,
that. I think he really think that.
oh my goodness, man. Like, how can you go at that dude and like literally what it's been in the media of like poking the bear, like, oh yeah, I wasn't poking the bear, or whatever, or I was poking the bear. Like, dude, you are seeing what happens when you do that type of shit, and
Yeah.
it's like your team's gonna suffer for it, brother. Like, sorry, buddy, you're gonna be in
Yeah,
Cabo here in a little bit.
for real. He's not even gonna have a job next year, dude. They're talking about they've been already trying to like work in ways to move him in free agency,
Whoo, I can't
which
see that. I can't, man. I can't see him nowhere else.
no, I don't. I don't either.
You
Like
gonna play? He gonna be
maybe
playing for the Memphis Hustle? Ain't that the G League team?
the Houston Rockets.
The Houston Rockets just got
He
the old coach from Boston, so I think we need
Mm-hmm.
to look
Udoka,
out.
yeah.
We need to look
No,
out.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree 100%.
And you know,
But
Then they're gonna take the steps to hopefully put a team
oh,
around him.
you know,
Like
Big Boy just and you know he just declared for the draft, so we're gonna see how that go too.
Wembenyama. Is that
oh yeah,
Wembenyama?
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. But on the Lakers side of things, AD, the Lakers will go as far as AD takes them. Like
yeah,
realistically,
yeah.
because
I like that.
it's not Bron. I mean, it's Bron's team, but he's clear. Like he shouldn't be the best. Have to be the best player on the court every single night. That should be Anthony Davis's job right now because Anthony Davis is still in his prime.
You know what's
And
crazy? You know what's crazy? Not to cut you off, man. I was
no, go ahead.
watching. I was watching Pelicans old highlights from when AD was there. He don't even move the same. Like his motion
No,
is not
Mm,
even the same. Like it's not like that's a whole different AD. That
mm-hmm.
Pelicans AD is a whole different animal, man.
the
Yeah.
lights in New Orleans aren't as bright as the lights in LA.
That's true.
But PJ's like I agree with him because like his physicality when he was with the Pelicans, that was a big part of his game on top of his finesse and the stuff he could do with the basketball in his hands. Like he wasn't afraid to duck a dude in and get an easy bucket,
Dang.
but now every catch to him is like mid post, 2-3 dribbles, leaner
Yeah.
with contact, you know what I mean? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
as a PJ, this as a big man, like you got to take those moments to get an easy one where you don't got to work for it.
Hey, you know what's crazy, Hughes? I was listening to some guy and he was basically saying like how the game is played now, it's not good on our bodies, like on the player's body. Like so like a 7 foot frame is not meant to be closing out at the 3 point line, running back, sliding. Like it's not meant for that. So
Mm,
it's
No.
like the game. It's like the way the game's played is almost like a hindrance to the players in a sense.
Yeah, I agree.
mm,
I mean, think about when the Warriors are at their best, they're going with that small ball lineup.
Yeah,
They're going small
mm-hmm.
and but no, AD can't be having 12 points in a game, man, in the
that should
playoffs. Like,
never
come on,
happen. That should never happen. Could you
man. 4
imagine
Dude,
and
in the
you
two
can't.
13.
thousands, Shaq having 12 points?
Oh, he's
Oh
gonna be
man,
no. I can never imagine that because that's Shaq.
he would have sat himself on the bench. Like, hey,
For,
that's unacceptable. I'm gonna sit myself down. Like, I'm
I
sorry
gotta
about
send
that
a
performance.
spoiler, man. Trey Young, man, 15 in the fourth, just stole one on the road.
Ooh. So what's that series
oh,
at
they
now?
did.
Just
Damn,
stole one on the
they were
road.
down
Does
30.
Dejounte Murray come back next game?
Ooh,
That could
they
go to
were
seven.
down.
Oh,
They were down
wow,
12-13 in the fourth,
That could
or when I was watching last.
that could go to seven,
wow,
man.
wow.
Damn, Trey Young had 38. Ooh.
Is next game in Atlanta?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, because they're in one. They're that was
Yeah.
game 5. They go 1-1-1 now, so it's
It's
this
going
is
to
going
seven.
Yes,
7.
It's
sir.
going to 7. It's going to 7.
Because Murray gonna come out with a different type of energy after
Yes, sir.
the
He just
suspension.
can't be
Everyone does.
headbutting refs, man. He
No,
can't be
fool,
doing that.
I
man.
didn't even
God.
see that.
He just walked up
I didn't
on
see
him.
that.
It was
He did.
after the
I shouldn't
game.
say that. He didn't headbutt him, but like he walked up on him and kind of like
Chest
got
bumped him.
real like, hey man, you're kind of too close to my face right now.
That's crazy.
So,
That's crazy.
but
What about Austin Reeves? What do you guys think about Austin Reeves? Are we sold on him yet?
I am. I was watching him at Oklahoma. Whew. He got it, man. He got it. And I think him playing with Brian that just really shot his confidence through the roof.
yeah,
Absolutely.
And he's not like
yeah, his
timid when he's on the floor with Brian. Like, I done seen him wave Brian off. Or like so like it's like he go get one. How tall is he?
yeah.
How big is he, man?
He looks like
Um,
he's kind of long. I'm gonna look that up
How
here real
big is
quick.
he? Because it's like I'm taking him over. What is the guy name? What is his name?
Alex
Caruso.
he's
Caruso.
Caruso.
Yeah,
6'5",
6'5".
197.
Yeah, so he's got some good
So who
length.
you taking,
But he got
Reeves?
his own.
Who you taking, Reeves or Caruso?
Oh, Reeves any day of the week because he can play offense.
True.
Yeah,
Caruso can go
he
give me 23.
No,
and
I mean I
Reeves
know LA
like
loved him, but no.
Reeves has like, even though his career is young still, he's kind of has a bag that he can go to
True.
like get to his shots a little bit.
That's true.
You know, like I was watching whatever game it was where he went off recently. There was obviously a bunch of highlights going off, and like he has some counters. He has some straight line drives where he can come to a stop and like pull up and shoot, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where like a lot of young players, I feel like it's either get to the rim really too fast and throw something up over some high hands, or you know, maybe rush a shot or just shooting spot ups. But like he really has a bag where he can put it on the ground and make some stuff happen.
Crazy to say, I feel like we're not gonna see him really pull out all the real tools until he leaves the Lakers.
Yeah, yeah,
I
He's gonna
agree.
get paid. Somebody gonna offer him some money. Somebody gonna.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
That's the type of thing that Memphis is missing, though. Like Memphis, Kyle Kuzma tweeted it last night. Memphis is missing a bucket getter. Like someone, I know Desmond Bain can get you buckets. John Moran can give you something, but who else on their team can come out and really just go ISO ball, break a guy down and get you a bucket? You know, like you need that guy coming off the bench that you can put in late game. Like, hey, we need buckets. Go give us 10 straight. Give us like 10 straight if you can. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
And they're lacking that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
But to
ready
your
to switch
point, I want
gears
to
here?
see real quick. To his
Go ahead.
point, I want to see Warriors Lakers, and then I
Oh yeah.
really want to see Warriors Suns
I would rather.
so bad.
That's what we
I
started
would rather
with.
see Bron. I gotta get a Bron and KD, man. I gotta get a.
That
Oh,
would be nice
I
too.
gotta get.
Yeah, I agree.
before too long, we have to have that happen.
We gotta
Oh,
see that.
absolutely. One more time.
Absolutely. We got robbed of LeBron and Kobe, but
Man,
you know, hopefully we
could
can
you
get a
imagine that?
LeBron KD. Oh, that would have
The
been
damn
beautiful.
Magic, man. Hito Turkoglu just had to have the series of his damn life. Like, bro,
He do nice, man.
that
Oh,
team had no business beating the Cavaliers.
That was a good team, though.
yeah, I was
You're
gonna say
right.
That
like
was
No,
a really
you're
good
the
right.
team
Cavs weren't that
around
good.
Dwight at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
And but you're right.
Dwight
I think
Howard.
that was like one of the first NBA. Like that team could translate easily
I
into their
forgot
game.
about.
You think
Yeah,
so?
I
Oh, I
forgot
agree with
about
that
it.
actually.
I
Yeah,
think
because they got to.
they
Yeah.
were like one of they almost, I don't want to say they played a college style offense, but it was like damn near like 4 out 1 in almost. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Ray Lewis was stretching it.
Yeah.
Not Ray Lewis,
Yeah, I
Rashard
forgot they
Lewis.
had
I said Ray
Rashard
Lewis.
Lewis.
They had Mikael Petrus too.
Oh, I remember
Mikael
him.
Petrus was
I
on that
remember
Mikael
him.
team. I'm
Petras.
pulling up the roster right now because
He
they had
had
some
that
dudes
funky
I can't
jumper. It
think
was
of.
kind of,
They had
but it went in.
I think JJ
They
Redick
had
played.
another guard.
I think that's
Yeah,
JJ
he
Redick
was
was
young.
young. Yeah.
Rayford Alston was on that team.
Jameer Nelson.
Marcin Gortat, Jameer
Jameer
Nelson.
Nelson.
Bro, Ty Lue was on that team. What?
Damn.
He never played, but what?
And
Courtney Lee was on that squad.
I like Courtney
They
Gang.
had some dudes. Okay, yeah, you're right. They had some
That
guys.
that team
yeah, they
easily
look
They
good
did.
too.
translate into today's NBA. Everybody can shoot.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they got people that could shoot it. Yeah,
And then they got the one big guy down low that they
That's like
really
they
need.
Steven Adams, the big Gortat.
Yep.
absolutely. But Dwight, that was like
Prime D
next
Howard.
next level Dwight Howard.
Facts.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was like
I was all
when Dwight
NBA.
Howard was doing stupid shit.
All NBA. That was his fourth
Boy,
year in the
Howard is
league.
a monster.
Yeah. Um, I want to switch gears, man. I want to get into. We're already almost 30 minutes into this thing. we talked about just the NBA. This is what happens every time. But I want to switch gears, bro, just to talk about some of your experiences through basketball.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I wanted to talk about where we connected at Sheridan, but even beyond that, of beforehand in high school, we were talking earlier about you were a pretty dang good high school player and ranked, and kind of what your kind of recruitment experience was like being a player that had that, and then why you chose Sheridan in the long run to be your first choice.
So for starters, man, I got introduced to the game like late. When I say introduced to it, I mean I started playing like very late. So I started playing eighth
Mm-hmm.
grade year. You know what I'm saying? Like actually like hitting the scene. Uh, and I come from a place that's Milwaukee's like known for hoopers. We might
Mm-hmm.
not got a big national stage, but we're known for hoopers.
Hmm.
You got Kevon Looney, Jordan Poole, Dwight Bikes, Devin Harris, Latrell
Yeah,
Sprewell. I went to the same high school Latrell Sprewell went to.
yeah.
So my freshman year. So uh, getting introduced to basketball here was like it was like it was like a shock, to be totally honest.
Mm.
Because I don't want to say I didn't think I was that good. I always knew I was good, but obviously, I was a big guy. I was like a big guy. I was like
Mm-hmm.
6'8", 360 big, like that type of big. As a kid
Mm-hmm.
though, like I was still a kid at the time. So I didn't fully understand, how to use what I had, and I didn't fully understand like the importance of slimming down in order to be productive. That didn't come down the line until about, sophomore, junior year. But to double back on just hitting the scene and playing AAU. So I played for the playground elite. That was like that's a
Mm.
Nike team here. We was EYBL. That was my first time
Yeah,
going to Boo Williams. I played there, and I played for Adidas team, which is Devin Harris' team, Spartans. So
the
I
Spartans.
played on both circuits, so I got a chance to see pretty much. And I'm in the same class as like Jabari Parker and Andrew
Mm-hmm.
Wiggins and those guys. So I vividly remember playing against Jabari and Mac Irvin Fire. Well, I played against Jabari in the Marquette camp here. That was like eighth grade year,
The team camp.
huh?
The team camp.
Yeah, the team camp, the Marquette team
Yeah,
camp, and
yeah.
then I played again. We played against each other in AAU in Mac Irvin Fire. I tell everybody, I'm like, man, I haven't got my ass bust by a lot of bigs, but Thomas Hamilton the third, Thomas Hamilton the third was legit the first big to like. Well, after I got done playing against him, that's how I said to myself, like, man, I'm really not that good. Like it was that, and we were in the same grade, same age, and I just seen. It's like almost like he knew what he was doing with his body. He knew exactly what move he was
Mm.
about to go to, and then come to find out, his dad played in the pros. His dad played in the pros in the '80s.
Oh.
So, and his dad's like a Chicago legend. So, Mac Irvin Fire is based out of Chicago. So you
Mm.
already know how to.
So what is that? Is that just a big tournament,
Uh,
or what's the Mac Irvin
Mac Irvin
Fire?
Fire is the AAU team. Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's the
got you,
team. That's the AAU team. Mac Irvin Fire is like
got you.
probably like one of the most historic.
Mm.
It's mean streets and that's the team D Rose and Eric Gordon play for.
Yeah,
And then it's Mac Irvin Fire. Like when you talk Chicago, those is like two elite.
those are the two
Yeah,
lead.
them is the
Yeah.
two programs. So playing against
Okay.
them. So my first year in AAU, I had a real good year. I was in eighth grade going into being a freshman, and I vividly remember we played Houston Hoops in Houston, and I had a good ass game. And after that game, I got invited to the Fab Frost All American Camp. That was my first time
Mm-hmm.
in Kentucky, and I didn't even realize, knowing what I know now. Back then, I didn't even realize what the fuck was going on, man. Just be totally honest. Like all I knew was I got invited to the camp and I'm going. I didn't realize like
Mm-hmm.
what type of players was gonna be there. I didn't realize like what scout. I didn't realize the importance of it. Like really. So that was my first
Right.
time at Rupp Arena. It was held at Kentucky. And what's
Mm.
crazy is at the time I didn't know who DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall was. Like if I seen them, I wouldn't know who they was. And I seen
Wow.
them. Like that was my first time.
Yeah.
And I swear, bro, that was my first time I seen John Wall dunk on somebody playing a one-on-one. First time. And I
Mm.
actually I know exactly who he dunked on. Rest in peace. His name is Tyreek Colder. He's from North Carolina. He was nice. He was nice. But
Yeah.
they North Carolina guys. So my eyes were so big at that camp. And my camp coach, you can do the Googles on this, was the coach for
I'm about to.
Finley, the Finley Prep. His name was Michael. It's Michael. I don't want to butcher his Michael Peters. He's like He's like an Asian guy. It's like Michael Peters or Michael Petrus or something like that. I think it's Peters. He was. If you Google
Michael Peck.
Michael Peck, that's exactly
Peck.
who it was. Is he
Peck. Yeah.
Asian?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, that
Yep.
was my coach. That was my coach for our team. You know what I'm saying? So this
Yeah.
how this how much I didn't realize. I didn't really realize where I was at, and I didn't. It took me
Mm-hmm.
a while to realize like the opportunity and the skills I possessed. I didn't, bro. To be totally honest with you, I didn't realize that until I got to college. Like I
Yeah.
went,
Now bro, that's when I realized it.
hey,
That's when
bro.
I
I don't.
realized it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and it's crazy. I don't want to say I took it for granted that whole time. It was more so just a blur. I was just a kid having fun playing basketball. I wasn't. I don't want to say I wasn't taking it serious because I was. In high school, so just to fast forward to high school, I'm gonna tell you how I got to Sheridan. It's gonna trip you out. So
All
in
right.
high school. I transferred high schools. I went to Washington High School my freshman year, and I transferred from there and went to Riverside. Uh, so my first year at Riverside, our team our team was undefeated in the city. So we were 15-0 in the city, clean sweep. Uh, and from that point forward, college that's like the first time I seen college coaches like coming to the high schools, coming to our practice, open gyms.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a real good guy, like our best player. His name was Tristan White. If I had to compare him to anybody, it would be D Wade. Like that's how he moved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like that's how he
Yeah.
played.
Mm-hmm.
And every college coach that came in there that seen me play, it was the same thing. Same thing as when I got to Wyoming. It was the same thing. It's like, man, you got all the tools. You just got to drop this weight, man. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
all it ever. That's all I was ever hearing. So once I got to shit. Oh, so I'm gonna tell you how I got to share.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't
I'm
forget
gonna tell
that
you how I got
part.
to Sheridan, right? So I have an older cousin named Stephen Ivory. That his nickname Buck. He went to Sheridan.
Yeah, I know who that
Yes.
is. Yeah, I don't know him. I don't know him, but I know he
Right.
played
So
at
he went
Sheridan.
to
Yeah.
Sheridan, and it's crazy how things play out. So he went to Sheridan, and that's one of my closest cousins. Like he played in a part in raising me. Like to be totally honest
Mm.
with you, that's like an older brother to me still to this day. But it's actually my blood cousin. So I'm growing up, man, and I knew he was far away. Like I knew he was far away at
Mm-hmm.
college. And when he used to come home and visit, he used to always give me shorts and shit and hoodies. And around this time he came home. This last time he had came home, he had gave me a pair of game shorts. So I'm in my high school. Fast forward, I'm in my high school
I
open
keep.
gym. I'm in my high school open gym, and we got college coaches coming. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who coming. I just know we got college coaches coming. So I'm in my high school open gym. I get a pair of the yellow Sheridan shorts,
Mm-hmm.
and I put them on.
The long, super
The
long
super
ones.
long
Like,
joints. So I put them on. I'm about to go downstairs and hoop, just like a regular old day. Not
mm-hmm.
knowing that the head coach of Sheridan basketball team is downstairs. The head coach, not the assistant, the head coach. So I walk in and he's like, nice shorts. And I now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, whatever, man. This dude weird as hell.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, okay, yeah, cool, nice shorts or whatever. So fast forward, we go through open gym. I'm playing. And after the open gym, Smiles pulled me to the side. He talked to me like, yeah, man. So where you get them shorts from? And I'm like, damn, that's the first thing he said to me. It's like, where you get them shorts
Yeah.
from? I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got them from my cousin. He's like, who's your cousin? I said, my cousin named Buck. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, and then that's when he told me he was the head coach of Sheridan College,
Yeah.
and it was actually funny, man, because he seen me as a 16-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? So he
Right.
seen me like fairly early. So fast forward. I want to fast forward to like my senior year in high school, and when I knew I had to go to junior college, I had a couple D1s,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't qualify as far as the grades.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't have that many D1s. Like I had Marquette was showing interest. UWM didn't really show too much interest. And when I say UWM, I mean UWM Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
So the
Yeah.
Wisconsin Badgers, I went to their team camp. I actually balled out at their team camp. They showed mild interest, but for the most part, I didn't have any offers like from any D1s coming out of come. I just had a lot of interest. I had interest from
Yeah.
man. I had interest from Notre Dame. I actually talked like I actually sat down and talked and shook Rick Majerus' hand. like like me and
Yeah.
Rick Majerus
R.I.P. Rick
actually
Majerus.
sat down and talked for about like a good 10,
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes. Uh,
Yeah.
and so that was one of the schools. Rick Majerus in St. Louis, they were like thinking about offering me, like seriously,
Mm-hmm.
seriously. But once I knew I didn't qualify as far as the grades, I just decided it was between Gillette and it was between Sheridan.
Oh
And you know what's
God.
crazy, H? I actually committed. I actually verbally committed to Gillette.
I think you
I
told
actually
me that
verbally
one time.
committed to Gillette.
That's wild.
Because I'm gonna say two things here. When you got to the part where you were talking about you were wearing the Sheridan College
Yeah.
shorts um to open gym, that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, he's told me this story before. And then that one, um, well, I can't remember
The
what we were about to
Gillette, when
say. What
I
we
had
were
verbally
talking about.
committed.
Oh, yeah, I think you told me that before too. But actually, side note, Bush is from
Oh
Gillette.
I
So
was
wow.
about to say small world, yeah, because
yeah,
I know Neary and Neary's kids very well. Like anytime we
Yeah,
see
he
them,
I
coached at
remember
Gillette.
it's
Yeah.
Neary.
like, "What's up, Neary?"
Yeah.
Like, we'll,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, so that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But Gillette's a good. Those are two good JUCO
I
programs.
didn't,
Great
and
ones.
you know
Yeah.
what? I didn't take a visit to Gillette. So I remember I
Mm-hmm.
remember them telling me that they couldn't get me out on a visit for some reason. It was something with some money. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it was my senior year, if I'm not mistaken. Marino, Coach D came.
Agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and Coach D came see me play it, and that was probably one of my best games in high school. I think I had my career high. I think I was like 36 or something like that. And I sent, and he came. He had an iPad. I remember clear as day, man. He had an iPad. You know, back at that
Yeah.
time,
Of
that was a
course.
big deal.
Yeah. That
You know
was.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. You
Hmm
were
You pull out
balling on
an
that
iPad
iPad
back
at that
then, it was
point.
like, whoa. So he pulled out the
Yeah.
iPad. He's showing me the campus. He showed me the dome. And once I seen that, he was like, "Yeah, man, we want to get you out on a visit." And shit, when I committed on my visit. Once I got there, I
That's
forgot
yeah.
the guy's
That's
name. That was my. He was from Chicago. He had dreads.
John Ruffin. We called him
Yeah,
Flocka.
that's who was my
Yeah.
shadow. That's who shadow and Vic. That was my first.
Bro, that's what I wanted to ask you about that of just like what your like I obviously remember because that was my freshman year. You know, when you came on
Yeah.
your visit, that was my freshman year. And I remember the most vivid thing I remember is after the game. I can't remember if we won or lost. You were standing in the corner, you know, over there, and I was like, okay, this is a recruit or whatever. And you know, I saw how big you were. I was like, this dude, you know, probably has just rocks for hands, and you know, and then I see you after coach gets done talking, you're out there by yourself after the game and people are out on the floor and I'm just talking with people and I'm watching you shoot around by
Yeah.
yourself and just the butteriest touch, dude. Like just buttery and I'm like, oh, like this dude's got great touch.
Hey,
And then I was like, okay.
hey, you know what's crazy? So once me and Smiles actually once he knew I was getting so on my visit they kept bringing up a guy by the name of LP Lamont. Kept bringing up
Lamont, yeah.
Lamont. And Vic kept once Vic seen me shoot and I was dribbling. He was like, "Man, you remind me of Lamont so much, man." And
Mm.
just to double back on that, so the first thing I learned how to do when I learned how to play basketball was shoot. Like I didn't learn how to shoot a layup. I learned how to shoot a jump shot. My uncle just
Mm.
he used to tell me just sit in front of the hoop and just work your way back. Just keep working your way back. So that's what that I owe that to him. You know, as far as that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you seen how big I was, but you know what? I didn't even realize. I didn't never think I was that big, and that sounds crazy to say.
Like when you said 360 or whatever, I wouldn't have guessed 360, you know, like that I don't know what you were when you came on your visit, but like you were a big dude, but I wasn't like, oh, this dude is like way too big to play basketball or
Right.
whatever. I was like, because I've hooped with dudes that are big dudes. I had a big fella in high school that was just like you, like bigger guy that just had just some
Big
silky
Yeah.
touch, you know.
was it Big G?
Big G. I was
Bro,
wondering if
Big
you knew who
G.
that
Oh
was.
my Lord. Oh,
Hey, Big G sound
I
like he got the
wonder,
shot on him too. That's
Oh
bro.
my god.
Big G has
Oh,
the
it was
nicest
just
touch I've ever seen in my entire
oof.
like straight up the nicest touch. You get him in the post, he give you like a little dream shake, just float it up and go in, or he'd
But it was
step
on
out to the 3 point line and
yeah,
cash that
yeah,
thing.
it was on the perimeter too. Like he just yeah, had a wet ball. Um,
yeah. So, go
but
ahead, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
So, and crazy story I'm about to tell you, bro. So when so you know how you come out for the summer. I think you were there.
Mm.
If I'm not, you was
I
there.
was
Yeah,
there.
you
I
was
was
there.
there.
So you know how you come. Keem was my roommate. You know, I come out for the
Mm-hmm.
summer. So my first summer there, I think I did like the first month. I was just getting acclimated to the workouts and how the day how my day by day was gonna be going. And I remember like that first week, I had to step on the scale. I remember that first week, Coach Smiley made me step on the scale, and I had gained like 10 pounds. Because
Mm.
and I knew why I gained the weight. So like that was the first time I was ever working out that hard. Like I that was some
Yeah.
shit when I first got there. I'm like, man, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? I was
Oh
like, what
yeah,
the fuck have
dude.
I got myself into? You know what I'm saying? So I got there and I'm working out, but after the workouts, I'm eating like whole pizzas. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Yeah.
eating like 15 to 20 wings. So it's like I'm smashing shit at this point. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically like wasting the workouts because I'm doing that and I'm getting up and I'm working out again. So
Exactly.
Smiles came to me. I never told nobody this. Smiles came to me and he was like, "Man, if you don't lose the weight, I gotta send you back home." Straight up. He's like, "Man, I gotta take the scholarship back and I gotta send you back
Wow.
home." He's like, if you don't lose the weight. So once he told me that, he introduced me to Nikki. He introduced me to his wife. And after
Yeah.
that, bro, I ain't look
Oh,
back, bro. After that, I did not look back.
bro, Nikki put us through. my freshman year put us through the hardest workout we had all year. Like, and it wasn't even, I remember I was sore for like, and not just like where it's sore and then it kind of
No,
fades
it's like
away,
it's
but it's
there.
still there. It was like legitimately sore for like 4 or 5
I
straight
think to
days.
this day I don't think I've met a person more in shape than that woman
No, she's
at
an
all.
animal. She
I
is
owe
just a
them so
beast.
much, man. Oh, I feel like I owe them so much,
Yeah.
man. Because without them and instilling that in me, like I get up today and still work out like every day before I get on the road. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if I hadn't had that, I don't know what would have happened, man. Like, cause that summer I lost I lost well over 120 pounds, man. Like I went from like
Mm-hmm.
365. My highest was like 385. I went from 385 to 275 when I got to Cal State Bakersfield. Like I was a whole different player, Hilky. Like when I got to Cal State
Oh,
Bakersfield, I was really like, yo. Like that's when I realized, like, yo, I really got some shit to me. And
mm-hmm.
what made me realize that was I was playing behind a pro. His name Ali
Yeah.
Ahmed. You know what I'm saying? And he's from
Mm-hmm.
Egypt. He played for the national team. Like he was the center. He was the guy. And he
Yeah.
was the guy at Cal State Bakersfield. Like that was our best player. And I remember I got to Bakersfield and I remember I went in the coach office and he told me to sit down. He looked at me, he like, man, you ain't ready for Ali. He just looked at me. He's like, you ain't ready for Ali. Because Ali wasn't there. He wasn't there. He was still in Egypt when I got there. So while we had to wait on him to get there. And I remember I was so eager for this man to get to the States, man. I was so, and I remember his first day there. His first day there, we had open run. And I went right at him, dog. I went right. He
Yeah.
went at me too. This how I knew that he was
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ali was just like me. Ali probably couldn't jump over a stack of paper. But he could use both hands.
Mm-hmm.
He had all types of moves. He had a touch out this world. He was about like 6'9", about 285.
What was his name?
Ali
Ali
Ahmed.
what?
ALY AHMED.
I'm about to look this dude's
Hey,
highlights up.
Hills. Side note,
Yeah.
real quick, because I told my mom to bring me this. And this is, let me see. That's me guarding Big G, bro. Look at dog. That dude is huge.
Big G
But
is
Oh,
big,
thank you
man.
for that. Thank you.
Big G is big, dog.
but
Bro,
that's like
you
two of
have to
me. That's two of me right
can
there.
you send me that picture? Like
I'll
just
try.
scan it.
Yeah,
Bro, scan
yeah.
it or something and send me that.
Who
Oh man, thank you
who
for
is
that.
this? Who is I don't know if you can see him that well.
I
Who is
can't
that?
really
His name
tell,
was like
man.
Chandler or something. Oh God, I cannot think of his name.
I can't
He
really
was the
tell. It's
other.
too
He was
grainy.
another light skinned kid on that team because it was Big G, Abel, and another kid that was younger, and he played. He was there until his freshman year, I think, in Laramie because that Laramie team, my grade was
Derek
ninth.
Graves. Derek Graves.
Yes, bro. He okay. That's who it was because he went to. Did he go to East?
Yeah, he went
Okay.
to East after freshman year.
He dunked on us so
Yeah, he
hard
was
in
nasty.
in regionals. I was like one of those dunks where you look over to your teammate on the bench like, damn, that was
Like,
Did you find Ali yet?
oh, I got sidetracked by what
Yeah,
Bush was
man.
telling me about
That's
because that just
yeah.
killed me, man.
Ali was the first player that made me realize. Yeah, Ali was the first player that made me realize like I actually had some like I had like I knew what the fuck.
You could
Yes,
go
like
at this dude.
Ali made me realize
Yeah,
like yo I'm a pro. I could be a pro.
yeah,
Cause
yeah.
and what's crazy, so just to fast forward, because a lot of crazy shit happened at Bakersfield, and it did, but it was like that probably was like some of the best basketball I ever been a part of in my life, because that was the
Mm-hmm.
first year that we went to the NCAA tournament, we won our tournament, we played
Yep.
Buddy Hield in the first round of the tournament, and Oklahoma. That's when I first realized, like, yo, these other people on the team is cold too. You know, like,
Yeah.
What year was that?
phew, what year was
Was that the year he went to the Final Four?
I mean, did they go to the tournament? How many years did Buddy Hield play? 2?
You're it would have been my because you're 1 year younger than me, and then so you would have had 1 year after Sheridan, and then
Yeah,
Bakersfield. So it was your junior year at
yeah,
Bakersfield.
yeah. Junior year at
So that
Bakersfield.
would have been my senior year. It would have been
15,
15,
Yeah, he was
16.
16.
going to the
Yeah,
NBA
yeah,
that year.
That
After
was the
that,
year.
he was going to the NBA.
That was
yeah.
that was the
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah, we played Oklahoma the first round of the tournament. I think we lost. We were down at half by like 6. Buddy Hield only
Yeah.
had probably like 4 points at half.
What seed were you? What seed
We
did you
was the
guys end
last
up getting?
seed. Like I think we was 8.
Oh,
No,
you
you
were.
15. You had to have been 15 because OU was the 2 seed that year.
Oh, gotcha.
I
I remember
think.
Selection Sunday. That was my first
I
time
could be
being a part
wrong.
of Selection Sunday. So that was a
Hey.
good time, man.
Well,
I had hurt my head.
what?
So when I said a lot of crazy shit had happened, bro. So I had suffered a head injury. Ali, he elbowed me in the head while we was in practice. Uh,
I think I remember seeing that on
yeah,
Instagram. You were putting it on, and you had a
I
big
had,
old
I had
gash
caught
in
an
your
elbow
head.
to the head, man, and it's kind of crazy. I caught the elbow to the head. But when you hooping, you just you get hit. It's whatever. No, I caught the
Yeah.
elbow to the head. Went home, showered, went to sleep. Woke up with an egg on my head, this big, man, and I got infected that quick. You know what I'm saying? They had to
Oof.
cut. They basically had to cut in my head, drain it out, and sew it back up. So that I was sidelined for about about damn near 3 months for the when that happened.
Well, you can't mess with those. Like when it's on your head and it's close to your
And what's
brain and
crazy
stuff. Like you
at the
No.
can't.
time, nobody had like you don't really hear about somebody suffering a head injury in basketball. So when it happened,
Yeah.
it was kind of like it really threw me off, and we were trying to see because I had played in more than 5 games because the head coach was trying to see if he could redshirt
Uh,
me. But I had played in more than 5 games, so I had to write an appeal. We had a whole process going to try to get that year back.
yeah.
But when that happened, that's when I knew like, okay, they got plans for me. Like
Yeah.
like they
Hmm.
really because you ain't gonna do that with no player you don't you
No,
don't plan
absolutely.
on having around. So that when that happened, that's how I knew he had plans for me. But I had made a decision to transfer when I found out I was having a son. I
Mm-hmm.
met my child's mother at Cal State Bakersfield too. She played for the women's team, and she was from
Mm.
St. Louis. So St. Louis to Milwaukee is a 5-hour drive. So once I found out I was about to have a son, I was like, man, I'm about to just go get closer back to the house for real, for real. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember vivid. I remember playing this day, man. We was playing open gym, and my roommate Matt, me and Matt was on the same team. And this particular day in open gym, mind you, it's already out that I'm transferring. So, and it's crazy
Yeah.
that they still even letting me play in open gym. You know what I'm saying? And they had a rule. They
Hell
had a
yeah.
rule because we were Adidas school. They had a rule that we couldn't wear nothing but Adidas stuff. And I was transferring, so I remember that day I had wore the black and blue Hirachis, the old joints.
Mm.
I remember I wore them, and ain't nobody say nothing, but everybody kept looking at me crazy. Everybody knew I was leaving.
Everybody
Everybody knew
knew what
I
was
was
going on.
leaving. And the head coach was there, and I remember this day, man. For some reason, this day, dog, we was whooping ass in open gym, man. It was like everything was going
Mm-hmm.
right. Like I don't even remember missing that day. I don't remember our team. I don't even remember our team losing. But I remember after the game, after we was done playing, he had pulled me to the side. He was like, "Man, if you stay here, I can make you an all league player, man." I remember he said that to me, and I looked at him, I shook my head, and I just walked off. And that was the last time I heard from Rob Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
That was his name. But good. That was a
Yeah.
good man because once I entered the transfer portal, it's nothing how it was when I was there.
So you had the transfer portal was a thing when you
Yeah, but I was
transferred?
just about to say it's nothing how it is now. Like
It wasn't as
yeah,
lenient. It was
it's
not as
nowhere
lenient.
close because is that still the rule when you transfer? You got to sit out a year.
No,
Not any, you got there's
no,
a
you can.
one-time transfer rule
See,
now.
see.
Yeah,
So when I did it, I still had to sit out a year. So, but I remember when I entered the transfer portal. I had got a call from North Dakota State. I got a call from South Dakota State. I got a call from Kennesaw State. I got a call from Prairie View A&M. I got a call from Jackson State, and I got a call from Cleveland State. So when I heard Cleveland State, I'm like, "Oh, that's close to the
Yeah.
crib right there." And it's Cleveland State. I knew Norris Cole had went there. I'm like, "Yo, let me see what this
Yeah.
is about." So I talked to the coach from Cleveland State, and when I say Rob Barnes, my coach for Cal State, he's a real good man. Like you don't really hear coaches like putting in a good word for a player that's trying to leave the program, but like he had nothing but good stuff to say about me. Like, and he didn't have to do that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He basically
that's a real
yeah,
coach
and
right
he
there.
basically was like, you wouldn't be wrong, taking PJ. So we got that worked out, and they offered me a full ride in Cleveland, and the real reason I was leaving is one because I wanted to be closer to home because I was having a son, but the second reason was my coach at Cal State told me in order to have my child and my his mom at the time be with me, we had to be married. I'm like, huh? I'm like, he ain't about to force me to marry this girl just to have her with me.
Hmm.
And I remember we kept going back and forth with that. Uh, yeah, he
What?
told me that. He told me that.
That's
He
weird.
told me that.
That is wild.
And I remember we kept going back and forth with that. And then I just made my mind up once I had came back from. So I went out to Cleveland for the visit. And this will have me sold, man. That's why I say my little basketball journey was like a movie, man. So when I went out to Cleveland, that was the year that the Indians was in the World Series and the Cavs was in the finals. So when I
Hmm.
took my visit, the city was cracking. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
This
I'm
is not
sure
so
that
I'm
was
coming from
stupid.
Bakersfield. Bakersfield is like the country of California. It's not like you going to school in LA.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like you and
Hmm.
No,
I'm an
definitely.
hour. I'm hours away. I'm like the closest. I'm like 2 hours away from Fresno, maybe shorter than that.
Hmm.
So I'm a drive away from Vegas and LA. So once I got to Cleveland and I seen, and it was just an upgrade from everything, like the facility, the locker
Yeah.
room. Like now looking back at it, when I was at Cal State Bakersfield, our year that the year I was there was the year that like set the years up now. If you get what I'm saying, like how they got a new locker room, how
Hmm.
they got all this new gear, and it's like that
Hmm.
team that won the conference and went
Laid
to
that
we
foundation.
laid that and made all that possible. So when I got to Cleveland
Hmm.
State, it was I low key felt like I was like this was like slick on some pro shit, because it was just like damn, it's like we everything is just like I can only imagine how a high major is. That was like
Yeah.
low to mid. I was like mid major. We played
Uh-huh.
games. We had like 5 games at the Quicken Loans Arena. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the
Hmm.
NBA teams. When the NBA teams came in and played the Cavaliers, they used our practice gym. So it's like
Hmm.
I seen all types of players. It was a real life upgrade, but I couldn't play. I couldn't play. So that's what
Hmm.
really, and I was a full time father at the time. So that's what really was like.
Yeah.
That's what really kind of checked me out of like I didn't realize I was slowly getting checked out of hooping. because
Yeah.
I had my son with me every day through school. I was like,
I remember you say that on one of your songs, I think. I think July
man,
4th or
like,
whatever it
bro,
is.
I was like, I was walking around campus with a stroller, bro. Like
Yeah.
from 6 a.m. workouts. From 6 a.m. workouts, I get back at the house. From 7 to 5, I got my son with me in every class. At my individuals, my my academic advisor was watching my son when I'm in workouts, when I'm in my individuals. So when I get out of individuals, I go get my
Wow.
son from my academic advisor. I got to go to the next class. I go to class. My
Hmm.
son is on the sideline while I'm in practice. While when I get out of practice, I get him, and
Your son, your academic advisor was coming to practice to
so
watch your
we're
son,
so how
and like what?
the gym was in Cleveland State. The practice gym was in the same gym as the main gym. So we was just in the basement. So
Hmm.
all we had to do was go in the basement, and her office was down in the basement. So I would like to just go to her
Oh,
office and
gotcha.
drop my son off while I'm in individuals or practice, and that just
So
Hmm.
you were taking being a father more serious than really
yeah.
like anything else at the time, right? See, man, shout out to you for that real quick. Like that's
Absolutely.
huge. That's big
Absolutely,
time,
man.
man. Because like I was just thinking like it could have been real easy for like someone to make the decision like, nah, that's too much pressure. Like I got hoop dreams, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But
Looking
having a
and I
like
appreciate
that's gonna mean a
no, and I
lot to him.
appreciate that, bro. Because looking back on it, that's what Coach Barnes was basically telling me to do. He was basically telling me like, stay
Hmm.
here. Your child and your child's mom gonna be fine in St. Louis. And I'm not saying he's wrong for that, but I was a first time father, and I just couldn't see myself like being in California and they in St. Louis. And I know how college is,
Hmm.
Hmm.
especially when you playing ball. Like I knew I was never gonna see him. Like I just knew I
You
was
ain't going
never
out to
gonna see
St.
him.
Louis, yeah.
Especially at that time where he was just born. It was a lot. I was there for his first steps, first teeth, first words. Like I was there for all that. And I could only imagine like if I would
Hmm.
have stayed in Cali, like I wouldn't have felt right, and I just would have missed out on a lot. I would have missed out on a whole lot.
That's a
So
beautiful thing that you
yeah,
decided to
man.
do
So,
that.
but that whole little journey, that journey was a hell of a ride, man. It really was. And even to this day.
It's
Oh, go ahead.
interesting. It's interesting to hear all of this stuff because I've been watching you and keeping track of you
Yeah.
from afar when I can and following what you've been doing, but um it's interesting to hear that all the details and all of the other um responsibilities and things that you were doing on top of what being a basketball player is. And I know you said you checked out, but we all know what it takes to be a
Yeah.
college basketball player. Like that, we've all seen it, and it's it is a full-time job on top of your school, on top of what you have being a father. So like that's a beautiful thing that you just decided that like you have this hoop dream and you became the player that you are, but you decided that that's going to be put on the back burner because
Right.
something else is
And you
more
know what's
important
crazy,
right now.
Hilgy? Nothing. And this just popped up in my head, man. One of
No,
my
you're
most
good.
embarrassing moments of my life, man. I had practice. We had a 6 a.m. practice. 6 a.m. practice. I had my son with me, and we got in trouble for something, man. It was for something. I don't remember what it was for, but I know I didn't have like I wasn't around, so it's like I felt like I shouldn't be in here running, but I didn't say that.
Hmm.
I never was that type of
Yeah.
player. So I got to the gym. I get to the gym, man. I put my son in the stroller, wide awake. He wide awake. He in the stroller and he's facing the court, so he sees the court. And we had to run 22s. He had to run 22s, man.
Oh.
And I remember myself running and I quit. I stopped running. I literally stopped running. Uh, and I remember Rob Edwards. Rob Edwards. He played for the played for OKC G League team right now. He played at Arizona State. Best player. You might be seeing him in the league in a couple years. But I remember when I stopped running, and I looked over at my son, I'm like, damn. I just broke down, bro. Cause I was already like over it. You know what I'm saying? Just being at practice. And it would have helped if I could have played. I had to
Mm-hmm.
sit out a year. So it's like
Absolutely.
I think that's what really did it for me when I was like, man, this ain't. And then what's crazy is the people that recruited me after that year, Gary Waters retired, and the whole staff is like he retired. He got fired, but he retired, and the people that recruited
Mm.
me, they got fired. So it was a clean shot. So the coach that was having us run was Dennis. I think his name is Dennis Edwards. He was coaching for the Spurs for a minute. He was assistant coach for the Spurs for a
Mm.
minute. And I just remember being in that gym that day. And I think that was the very day that I remember like, yo, I'm done with ball. I vividly remember
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, I'm done with basketball. And you know me I mean, I was never the type of player like to be combative or quit on something. You seen me go through a lot of shit in
No,
Sheridan, bro.
absolutely
So
not.
that's how I knew I
No.
had reached like it's it. It's it. And I wanted to say that because that popped in my head. But if somebody was to ask me like, do you remember the moment that you knew you were done playing? Like, I could shoot straight to that moment, bro. It was
It
that
was that
straight that
one.
man. It wasn't even nothing. It wasn't even the fact that we was running. It's just the fact like I had that once I asked myself like, yo, what the fuck am I doing in here? It was that. It was
Mm.
like, yo, what the fuck am I doing here? Once I asked myself
Mm.
that, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Yeah,
But I love
man.
ball, man. I
That's
love ball. I love ball. And
we could tell you could talk about it for days, and I
for
love seeing
real,
your
man.
tweets, and you like that's big reason why we had you on here. But one thing, like, I'm glad it got to that point where you told that story, man, because not even if anybody gets something out of that, but that's a beautiful story of like a message you got to say to all players, and we
Yeah,
heard it a million times at Sheridan as the ball stops bouncing for everybody
man.
at
That is
some
a true
point.
statement.
And
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you can it's cool you can pinpoint that
I
moment,
could
like,
pinpoint.
and that it was
Yeah.
your son, like it was your son that was looking at you like, man, let's get out of here.
and,
Like,
Yeah,
and it was crazy
it's too damn early.
because like I
yeah.
said, man, it's like I could pinpoint the moment like I fell in love with ball, and I could pinpoint the moment when I was like, I'm done with it. Not necessarily I fell
Hmm.
out of love with it, but I could just pinpoint the moment where it's like I'm not doing this at this level no more. Not physically, I was just like mentally.
Well,
It's just
mm-hmm.
even when I was there at Cleveland State, bro, I was so excited because I was busting their ass. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of
Yeah.
excitement around me. Like straight up. Like when the guy that I named, Rob Edwards, like it was a lot of excitement for me to play with him. It was a lot of excitement for
Hmm.
that. And the coaches and that's another reason how I knew that I really was good is because when I got there, those coaches, like the main coach that recruited me, he had just he
Was
had
gone,
so the
right?
main coach that recruited me played on that Sweet 16, or I think they went to the Final 14 with Wally Serviak. What college did Wally Serviak go to?
Mm. I can't remember, to
But
be
my
honest with you.
About to search it up right now.
yeah.
Wally Zerbiak, that's a
So
name I haven't
the
heard in a
and the
while.
and the coach that recruited me played with him. You know what I'm saying? And he played
Mm. On that
and yeah,
team.
on that team. And he played with pros. There you
Miami,
go right there.
Ohio.
Cause that's in Ohio. That's so
Hmm.
it's like I kept getting the reassurance like, "Dawg, you got it. I kept getting, so it wasn't that I was lacking in skill. It was just more so off the court, my off the court decisions. And I don't want to make that sound like a bad thing. I always tell everybody when I talk about my journey with ball, like I didn't stop playing basketball because I had a son. Like I stopped playing basketball because of the shit that I put myself through as far as leaving schools. I picked my son over ball. That's really, and I don't want to make it seem like yo,
Mm-hmm.
once I had him, it's like I'm stopping because I had a son. It wasn't that at all. That wasn't it. It was
Mhm.
I just had too much on my back, and I put myself in a situation that I just couldn't take no more. You know, when you leaving a program that you helped build and helped get to this success to go to a team. No knock on Cleveland State, but we only won 8 games. We only won
Yeah,
8 games when I was there.
they weren't that. They weren't
Yeah,
what you
so
just came
they were
from. That's for
accustomed to
sure.
losing. Like that was the thing. So some of
Hmm.
them practices and some of that shit was hard to like be in. Like to be totally honest, it's like some of that shit was just hard to be
Hmm.
around because I just wasn't. I wasn't used to losing anyway, just coming from high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had went
Mm-hmm.
upstate in high school. Like I said, we went 15 and on high school. AAU, I was winning. So when people say that, that's why when I hear these stories about the NBA and the rookies, and then when they get drafted to these teams that just be losing, I low key can connect to it because that's like because the whole attitude of the team and everybody is different. It's not like
Hmm.
it's not a winning camaraderie between everybody. It's like everybody. It's like sections and groups of people. You know, instead of a team.
Well, we
Hmm.
talked
Like,
about that last weekend, or not last week. We said that very same thing on the episode last week. Like losing is like a legit like is toxic
Man,
as hell, and it's like a
it's a
cancer that
disease, man.
you can't get rid of it almost. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to just get over that hump, and if it's not just winning, like you said, 8 games, like that's not getting over the hump. It's can you get to 12 games? Can you get to four? Like
you
get to be
know,
competitive and stuff like
and
that. You
it's
know what I
coming.
mean?
We coming from 8 games to we just won I just won a conference. I got a ring. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like that was another thing. All the players at Cleveland State, they was talented, man. Talented as hell. But I've
Hmm.
never once I'm happy. Two things. Any coaches, I've been blessed to have all good coaches, man. Like I can't say, and that's you don't hear that a lot, just coming from players in college. Like,
No,
yo,
definitely not.
any coach I ever had showed me that they genuinely cared about me and did whatever they could to help me. That's going from
That
bro,
is
that's
rare.
going from junior college all the way to Division 1, bro. Like I said, when I
Mm.
went to Rob Barnes and told him I was about to transfer, he could have just been like, all right, cool, just written me off. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it
get
could have
out of
been
here.
like
Yeah,
he still
absolutely.
let me come around the team. He still let me use the gym. You know what I'm saying? He made calls for me. So it wasn't like even with
Hmm.
Gary Waters, like we had a losing season, but he knew a lot of shit. He knew a lot of the stuff that I was going through having my son and stuff with me. So they used to. He almost brought me in like family there. So it's like I can't, man. I have
Hmm.
nothing. I have nothing bad to say about my journey. Period.
Well, we talked about that like I can't
Two
remember two
episodes
Yeah.
episodes
ago.
ago
Yeah.
about just it's it's very easy to see the coaches that and the staffs that are about their players and what's best
Mhm.
for their players and the ones that say that but they're really not about that. And it's it's good to hear that even through a losing, maybe a losing culture at Cleveland State,
They was still good
or,
people. They was
even you
still good
hear
people.
exactly. And even you hear like, even in good programs and winning cultures, you hear of toxic environments and of coaches that like do their players dirty or don't help them
Right.
out in situations like that, unless you're the next NBA prospect, but they don't treat all their players that way. And so hearing that, especially at the Division I level, and as it gets more serious and more of a business, that there are those staffs that are going to be like, no, we're still about
And
our
that was
players here.
just to piggyback on that Cal State Bakersfield team. That Cal State Bakersfield team had 8 junior college players. So we already came in. We
Yes,
already had came in with a bond that was like, because yeah, we've been through the
you know what it
grind. So
is.
like to be at a D1 to
Mm-hmm.
us, that Cal State Bakersfield was like, it felt like Kentucky to us, just because where we just had
Mm-hmm.
came from. For real. And that's no knock on Sheridan, because like Sheridan,
No, dude, I get you. Like that is so
but
serious.
that's just how when you play junior college ball, you just got a appreciation just for any level that you get to advance to. Like I'm just
Mm-hmm.
lucky. I'm lucky because to even, I don't want to say I'm lucky to go Division One, but I didn't get to that. Man, I know we had an hour 15, but
It's all good, man.
so
We're rolling.
the point of me going from JUCO, because when you left that summer, I had got invited to camps, the Mullins camps.
The Juke or the
Yeah,
JUCO
so
Advocate
that
one
is
out
really
there.
what set the table
Yeah.
for me, just for my recruiting. So
Mm-hmm.
when
That's where Akeem got a
and,
lot of
and,
his
and,
exposure
and,
his after
and
his
I'm happy
freshman
you
year.
said that, because that's who my roommate was in that summer. So
Hey.
I was seeing how his work was paying off for him. So once
Mm-hmm.
I had went to the Mullers camp in St. Louis, it's how ironic that my son is from St. Louis. So I went to the Mullers camp in St. Louis, and I got invited to the one in Vegas. And the camp in Vegas, the first game in Vegas, I had 8-8-8. And I remember after that game, that was the first time I had met Mark Shue. That was the guy that recruited me to go to Cal State Bakersfield. I remember after that game, he offered me a scholarship right on the spot. That's my first scholarship I had got,
Mm-hmm.
uh, through them camps. I had racked in 15 offers for them camps. So
Yeah.
that
Because those are good because it's, guys that are invited from all over the country, not just your region or,
right.
whatever, but like those are nationally ranked
Yeah.
junior college kids that all come to play. So when you ball out against those
And
guys,
I
it's like, all right,
through my
we got a
basketball
dog.
journey, I always remember times of reassurance that is like that I'm telling myself, like, damn PJ, like you good enough to do this. Like
Mm,
I got moments like that dating back from when I played Thomas Hamilton. He bust my ass, but I got my shit off too. Like that's, what I'm
mm,
saying. I remember
mm,
from 8th grade to high school to when I played against Luke Fisher. He was the big for Marquette a couple years back. I played against him in high school and bust his ass. So it's like I remember these points where it's like, even when I got to Sheridan, when I used to bust Caleb ass, shouts out to Caleb, wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? Even when I got to Sheridan, because in my mind, I'm like, damn, he just came from Cal. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
yeah.
and that's
Yep.
high major D1. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, if I'm doing this to dude, I can only imagine what I could do when I get my body fine tuned and I'm really like a well running machine.
I want to ask you something because you talk about what you were gonna do once you got on that floor. You remember, because this is a huge moment for me in my basketball career and just my basketball journey, was you remember that we had just lost a little bighorn. We had just lost
You're
to
joking.
we had just lost
Bro,
to
we went
Central
through
Wyoming,
that.
and we were about to lose to Western Wyoming for the 3 straight games. You remember when Smiley threw all
Hey,
five
I'm
of us
happy
in
you
there?
said that, bro. Cause I'm happy you said that, H. Because at that moment, and this might sound crazy, at that moment, I don't want to say me and you were the closest, but after that game, I had no doubt in my mind, like, yo, that's my guy. Like,
Yes, sir, bro. Bro, I told my parents this. I want to stop you real quick. I told my parents this. I remember when we all went out there, I looked at you and it was like, here we
for
go.
real.
Like,
It
let's
was
do
like,
this.
it was really like you couldn't
Be-
script that. You couldn't script that because, like he just said, we were
no,
on the
man.
losing. Like we was just losing.
And we were sitting the
Yeah.
bench. Neither of us were playing. You know what I mean? Like neither
And
of
we
us
was
were getting
just
time.
losing, and it was like we were a talented team from top to bottom. We just kept
Hmm.
losing, and Smiles just got pissed, and he's just benched. He just benched the starters and was like, "Y'all go ahead."
He just Bush, he just went like he started the same way out of halftime. And, the first 3 or 4 minutes of the half, we're just digging ourselves a deeper hole, turning that thing over. Finally, Smiley walks down to the bench. He goes, you, go in. Like, and we're all
Yeah,
just like, all right. We just take off our warm ups.
Let's get it.
He said, go.
yo,
See,
And then,
I know you're going through the ringer if you're taking an L, like because I'm familiar with Region
okay,
Nine being from Gillette. If you're losing
mhm,
the Little
that's
Bighorn,
not
man, that's
good.
not
That's not you.
that's
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 bad
not
bad.
loss.
good right now.
That's not good because that's normally a team you
I'm
beat
not
by
gonna
like
lie to you.
40. That's a team
I'm
you
not
run
gonna
out of
lie
the
to you,
gym.
Bush. That game turned our season around. If you was to ask Coach Smiles right now,
It did
that
100%.
game was the game that was like that game really helped our that just saved our season. It really did.
It
It
did
really did. And that's
100%.
back to when I just say, like, I get these times of reassurance in my basketball journey where it's like, yo, you could do this. You know what I'm saying? You could do this.
Well, I remember that game. What got us rolling is I remember I gave you 3 or 4 straight post feeds and you just went to town on those dudes. Boom, boom, bucket. And I was like, and I remember when you
You
kicked one out
bang
one
that
time and I shot faked it. I was wide open and no, I not on that one. I gave it back to you and you got fouled or something. I remember you looked at me, you were like, shoot the
Oh,
ball.
bro, because you could really shoot, bro. Like you really got a shot on you, bro. So it's like, and I'm a guy, man. Like
Yes,
if
sir.
I pass it to you, I'm passing to you for a reason. Shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I had. I never forget that moment, bro. I think I still got that picture of you, bro, when you hit the shot and you was geeked, like you was screaming.
Mm-hmm.
I still
I
remember
was
that's my
flexing. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
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 one of my
Tate's.
favorite pictures,
He
dog.
got
That's
that
one of my
on
favorite.
IG.
That picture just that
Oh,
picture got
man.
so much meaning behind it because I know it's like that. Because I remember when I first got my first and one, I started screaming loud as hell, bro. Yeah, I remember that
Mm-hmm.
day, bro. It's just you
Yeah,
got
there
to
it
get that
is.
out of you. You got to get
Yeah.
that out of you.
I know. Well, bro, like you said, like a lot of people that just look at that picture, they just see
Man,
someone getting
you
hyped
don't
up
even.
after hitting a shot. But what you're understanding and what you like, the fact that I wanted to ask you about that was what went into that, like
Yeah.
why that emotion was coming out like that. You know what I mean? So like that's why I wanted to just
No,
ask
I
you if you
definitely
remember
remember
that
that, bro. Because
because
it
that's
wasn't
something
like
I
it
go back
wasn't.
to all the
You
time.
were ready, and you always put in the work. So I already knew what that emotion was. It was like God. It's like about time. Shit. That's how I felt when we was in the game. I'm
Yeah,
like, man, about
absolutely.
time, dog. Because they was bullshitting. Our starters was bullshitting. And I'm like, man, y'all got to
Oh
go on with that shit.
man,
Yeah,
they
man. I
were.
had.
You you made a tweet which I can't help but agree with that Akeem was the most
Yeah.
talented player you played with. Was it in JUCO or was it in or just any
Uh.
level?
hmm. I,
Because I can't
No,
remember what the
it
tweet
may
said,
it
but
may be
whichever one it
it is any
was.
level. I like when we talking about like straight
Yeah.
talent, like just like get up, put your shoes on, get on the court. I ain't never seen nobody like King ever, ever.
It was
And
stupid,
Bush,
bro. It
he
was
couldn't
stupid.
shoot a rock in the pond. That's my guy. I love him to death, but he couldn't shoot. At the time, he couldn't shoot a rock in the pond, but you couldn't, if he made his mind up, you couldn't stop him.
Mm-mm.
You couldn't stop him. And he affect the whole
No.
game. Like he could.
And I remember his arms were like, he would pick my pocket sometimes, and I would just be like, How did you get that? Like, how did you even reach
Hey
that
man,
far over there? Oh my God, he would
that
make me
was
so
crazy.
mad picking
He
my
was
pocket.
and not Fred. Fred is another dude. Fred is another dude.
Fred.
Yo, I'm looking at one of these comments right here. Did you guys play with a dude named Tredarius McCallum?
Yeah, that's baby T
Yeah.
man. Yeah, he was
Trey.
young.
Trey.
He was young.
It's he.
Because
He was
he
a young fella.
he playing
Yeah,
overseas, right?
I knew he was
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a pro when I first seen him
He
hoop
was in
though.
the G League for a little while. Yeah, he was on Chicago's G League team for like a year and a
Uh-huh.
half or 2 years or something like
That's what
that.
I'm saying. Said the Windy City
Yeah, man.
Bulls.
I knew he was
Yeah.
gonna be good as soon as I seen him play. Like, I'm like, yeah,
He was just a baby though when he came
literally,
to Sheridan at first. He was just I don't know if he was 17 or 18 yet, but he was
literally, man.
young.
I don't think
But
a
he
lot of
he had it.
people like realize the talent
Oh
that
my
Region 9
god.
is, like Gillette, Sheridan. I don't think even still, like with Gillette coming back, I know Neary's gonna bring in some dudes again to Gillette, but it's like I don't think kids understand like JUCO is a level
Mm-hmm.
of
Especially
different
Region
talent.
9.
Like those you dudes, you guys could hoop. Yes, Region
Region
9 is
9 is a
tough.
man, Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, who was I
I didn't
just looking
expect
up?
I did not because I'm from Milwaukee. So when I heard basketball in Wyoming, I didn't think it was ass, but I'm like, I didn't think it was gonna be what it was. I'm like, yo, like
But you saw college
true.
basketball in
True,
Wyoming.
that's true.
You didn't
That's
see
true.
high school basketball in Wyoming.
That's true.
Different. Yeah.
I
Ain't no
wonder
way
what
high
the
school.
It's
Yeah.
basketball
not
of Wyoming look like
Milwaukee.
then.
Like, I mean, so this is the best way I would describe Wyoming. You have those one like it's not like Milwaukee or Wisconsin where there's 25, 30, maybe more Division 1 kids or
Yeah.
like kids sniffing Division 1 every year. It's like
Oh, okay.
one or two,
Okay.
maybe at best.
I mean, the
And
best
so,
dude, James Johnson came
Hey,
from. You
hey,
know
oh,
James
okay.
Johnson, right?
yeah, James Johnson.
He
He's from
he came
Wyoming.
But
from.
guess
He's
what?
Cheyenneese,
So,
Cheyenneese high school. Like
when
we were.
my second year
What's
at
up?
Sheridan, Coach Miles left, and the assistant coach
Uh
for
huh.
Sheridan, that was James Johnson's best friend. He's a sneakerhead. James Johnson got a pair of my shoes just because dead ass, just
That's
because Coach Parks, Tom Parks,
yeah.
he
That's dope.
Yeah, he's at a
yeah.
JUCO now in Florida.
Yeah,
I was just
he's at
Yeah,
messaging
Northwest
him like a
yeah,
Florida.
couple
that's my
weeks
guy,
ago.
man. Tom Parks, that's one of my guys, man. Good dude.
Mm-hmm.
No. I was just gonna say something too. Oh, did y'all know Darvin Ham
No,
played at Otero?
I did not know.
Really?
Swear, for a year. I was because I went yet last night. I was like, I was looking up his thing. I think it was 93 and
What?
94. Darvin Ham played at Otero. Yes, the Lakers head coach. That's wild to me. Because Otero is like one of them schools in Region 9 that's like prominently known
We
for
beat
always being good,
we beat
right?
Otero to
Mm-hmm.
go
That's
to play. Yeah,
We beat them the
we
first
lost to
round. We
NJC.
beat them the first round. We beat Otero, then we beat Northwest, and then we
That was to
lost to
go to Hutch.
NJC in the semifinals.
Damn.
I know. Man, oh, bro, do you think if we had Josh Adeyeye, if he didn't break his
Easy,
leg, we would have won the conference?
easy. We were really, but
Oh,
I've never
God,
seen
bro.
nothing like that. You know, Josh, he a model now. Like,
I know, bro. This dude, this dude is like, he's one of those guys that's like, how do you
and,
get
and,
that many muscles on your
and Bush,
body?
you know what's
Like,
crazy?
what in
When
the
you
world is
hear
going on?
a guy that's real muscled up, you would think that he's stiff. Josh was stiff,
mhm.
but oh my God, man, he can shoot the piss off.
Oh,
Like
yeah, he could
he was
hoop,
just a
man.
good hooper.
Going back to what really, damn. Going back to what you said, Hills, to best explain like why the best player we had was I don't he was a couple of years before you got or P came to Sheridan, but it was
Sheridan.
Taron Brown. After James
At
Johnson,
Gillette, yeah.
I would say that was the best. But like honestly, when you think of Wyoming basketball now, like it's not good anymore. Like it's really not good. Like our highest class is 4A, and I'd say the best players normally come from like 3A
Mhm.
schools and stuff. You know, like
You think
the
so?
talent. Right now, yes. I don't think like the talent level isn't as much there. I guess I haven't seen as much. Like I know Laramie got that kid.
Neil
Laramie's
Summers,
got
yeah, he's a big
Neil
fella.
Summers. He's good, but like just the talent level has really fallen off as a whole. You know what I mean? But it's just hard for people to like kids in
Man,
Wyoming
I
don't
gotta be
understand
honest.
how to.
I don't know if the talent level was there to begin with. You
You're
know,
right, but
like
I don't think the kid like I think it was better back when we were playing. Maybe that's biased, but like I just don't know if the kid if like really as a whole we knew how to get ourselves
Well,
out
that makes
there
sense, though.
not
That
than
makes
like
sense.
it is nowadays.
well, you don't you there wasn't the ability to get it out there like there is
No.
now. You know what I mean? Like you got Twitter, you got all these different things that you know gives you the ability to
And you hear
get your name
Wyoming,
out
like
there.
kids playing in Wyoming, you better be averaging 20 some points for you to get a like a look because
Oh, at
they're thinking,
least,
oh, you're
at
playing against
least.
like we went to my high school team went to Reno, Nevada, and we played this tournament. And we it was this tournament our coach took us every summer, and only one of his teams prior to us going my senior year had won. And when we went, we had won it, but we played this team from Northern California, the
I
Northern
think.
California All Stars, and we beat them twice. We beat them twice, once in the first game, like pool play, and then once in the championship. And afterwards, their coach came up to us and he was like, "Man, I'll be honest with you. When we saw Gillette, Wyoming, like we were thinking cowboy
Thought it was gonna
boots and
be
like
sweet.
farmer pants. Like we were expecting some farmer boys to show up and play, and it like really hit me. I was like, damn, that's what people
I
really
think
think
when
about,
people hear
Wyoming
Wisconsin, they think
basketball.
about farms and cheese. I'm like, man, we hours away from that in Milwaukee.
You said it earlier though. Milwaukee, like Clem and Chris, like those are two of my best friends from Milwaukee. Clem is probably one of the like he could hoop and he can
Yeah,
still
he
hoop
could
to
play.
this day, even if he hasn't doesn't pick up a ball that often. But those are like Milwaukee is a different breed of
Oh, you
Miles
know
Henry.
Miles?
Miles could hoop, like
Oh yeah,
He was a
Yeah,
Gillette.
Miles.
Yeah,
yeah,
he played. He
Miles
You're
played
is
in
right.
Black Hills. Hmm.
and he went to BH. Miles is
Yeah,
living out in Rapids, so I see him quite a bit now. We're pretty close too, but like because I was
Miles
asking
Henry's
Clem
the
if he
silent
knew you, but
assassin.
Clem didn't remember. Did you ever play in Gus Mack? Sorry, that's a random ass comment. The Gus Mack tournament. Did you ever
No,
play
I
in
ain't
that?
never
The three
played a
on
Gus
three?
Map tournament. No, I never heard of that.
No, that's in
It's just
Oh
a
Sheboygan.
no,
three
They
yeah,
on
I
said it
three
ain't
was
do
always
too
in
tournament.
much.
Yeah.
Sheboygan.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to sound too uppity, bro. But like, when we played on the when we played on
No,
the
you're good.
circuit, it was more. We was most likely out of town, or if we was in town, I don't know if y'all heard of
Yeah.
Yeah.
NY2LA, but we played a lot of NY2LA tournaments. But
hmm
if we wasn't here, like playing NY2LA, we were
Hmm.
out of town, man. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
you know Miles then?
Me and Miles play. I play up. I play up with Miles
Oh,
AAU team. He's older than me. I play up with him.
that's right. I knew
Yeah.
that. I remember because when you said Mac Irvin Fire, that rung a bell in my head, and I couldn't remember like because they know
Yeah.
that team very well. Jarrell James, there's a dude named Jarrell James that I know from Milwaukee that played. I think he played on a pretty solid. He's older than you.
Oh,
He's like
okay.
Miles's age and stuff. But Clem and Miles say that dude was one of the best hoopers
Yeah.
that they've ever been around too, because
Yeah, I
he was
remember
pretty
Miles,
cold as
man.
well.
I played up with a lot of older cats in Milwaukee. I hated playing up, man, because I didn't get that much burn at certain tournaments, man. I hated that shit. But my coach didn't let me play. My coach wouldn't let me play my age bracket. Uh, I hated
Yeah.
I hated
Too
playing up.
good.
Playing up. It helps you, man. It helps
Definitely.
you playing
I
up a
got me
little bit.
my son. My son is in football right now, man. I'm not gonna push him into basketball until a little bit, and then I'm gonna give him a couple more years, and I'm gonna roll the ball out to him. He's
how
6. He's
how old
6.
is he now?
He gonna be huge, man. He gonna be huge. And
6?
his
Oh,
mom's
balling
six
out.
four, so be huge. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
Well,
already
you
in his
both hoopers,
bloodline.
you know.
So his
You gotta
hey,
teach
he
him to
already
touch
got a
like you
soft little
got,
touch,
man.
man. I think that's just running the family. I think that's just
Yeah.
running the family,
It's
man.
genetic.
I love doing this, man. I can talk about ball all day,
All
man,
right,
especially
man.
with y'all.
We need to
Hey,
have
I'm
you
gonna
on
come
again,
out there.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm gonna
bro,
Like
come.
for real.
straight
Are
We
up.
y'all in
could we could
Wyoming?
get you on again. No,
See,
he's in
okay, you in
Wyoming. I'm
Colorado,
in
you in
Colorado.
Wyoming. Okay,
well,
I'm gonna get up with y'all,
yeah,
man.
Mm-hmm.
we do need Hills. I was thinking about that. We need to do. I need to come down to Colorado, and we need to do a in person
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I
Yeah, that'd
episode.
definitely
be
wouldn't
tough.
mind, especially how much I be
That'd be
moving
super
around,
tough.
man. I wouldn't mind coming to kick it with H again, man. I wouldn't mind that, man.
If for real, if you're in Colorado, you need to let me know if you're anywhere
I
close
got
to
you.
Pueblo,
I got you for sure.
Colorado. We gotta
And Bush, same with
um,
you, man. Once you one of
figure
my
something
guys
out.
too now, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We
We definitely need that. We need, if you're like in a couple weeks or so want to do this again. Like I'm serious.
Bro, I would love
This is a
to, bro.
solid episode. We could talk
this
for
I
is
would
an
love
hour
to,
forever.
bro.
35.
I would love to. You ain't gotta ask. Just let me know when you're ready.
We'll we'll be hitting you up very soon, but we appreciate it, bro. I know you got things to do, and it's an hour
Yeah.
later there. You're getting late, but we appreciate your
Yeah,
time,
no,
bro.
this is a
That
good
was
one.
some great conversation.
This is a
Obviously,
good
we
one,
got
man.
off track. Um,
Um, Real quick, because I know I always do the shout out at the end. Where let the people know where they can find your music,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Because I
so
know
you can
you're doing
find my
that thing.
music on
Um,
basically all platforms. You just put in Big P or put in Driveway Dreamers. It's on everything. I'm actually working on a new project titled Weed and Wine. It's gonna be my first solo joint, so just stay on the lookout for that. I'll keep
mm.
y'all tapped in with it
okay.
too.
He's
Yes,
got
sir. You
a
Oh
he's
yeah,
got an
25,
EP
20.
out already. You dropped that a few
25,
years
20, I
ago, didn't
dropped it
you? Yeah.
2019. And I got Drawaway Dreamers out from a collective I'm a part of called TRP, The Roses Prevail. So y'all can go stream all that, man.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. Hey,
you heard
before
it,
you go,
folks.
let me ask you, you as far as the your songs you've made already, what's your
um,
favorite one you've made? Because I got my favorite of yours. I got
my
one or two of
favorite
my
song I
favorites, but I
made
want
thus
to hear what
far
your
probably
favorite
be
is of
94
yours.
Chevy. 94 Chevy and July 4th, hands down. July 4th. Yeah,
Yeah,
and '94
'94
Chevy
Chevy
because
was
that's
mine.
about
That
my
was mine right
granddad.
there.
That's
So
basically like my pops. We share the same
yeah.
birthday, so that
Hmm. I just
yeah.
listened to
And
that
that's
before
and
we
I
hopped
don't want
on
to
this
I don't
too.
want to make it sound like, but that's old, man. Like I had just started rapping when I made that. Like, like a so much better artist now, bro. So I can't wait till y'all hear this new stuff that I've been working on,
Well,
man.
we'll be
That's how
keeping
I
our
feel
Y'all
eye out
got
about
for it.
something
this.
with this,
That's how I
man.
feel about this. Hills going from episode 11 to episode 1. Like we've made the first episode was like, man,
Yeah, man.
how do we do this? And now it's
We were
just
like
flowing.
Nah, it's
preaching to
gonna
the
be a good
choir right
thing. It's
there.
gonna
You
be the
know,
good thing when I look up and y'all actually got like a set and y'all really got this thing rolling and popping, man. It's gonna be good.
doing something.
I'm
Yeah,
happy to be a part of
That's
this
the
early,
goal.
man. I
Straight
really
up.
am, man. Anytime y'all want to do this again, anytime y'all want to
we're
do this again,
happy you
y'all let me
joined
know,
us.
man.
Yes,
But
sir. We
you
appreciate
heard
you.
it. Go ahead. You heard it, folks. What is it? Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio. Tune in, like, subscribe, comment.
Yes,
Let us know
sir.
how you like this episode. If we need P back on, because that's what we want him back on.
Appreciate
Yes,
y'all one
Um,
indeed.
more time.
but I hope, yes, sir. I hope
Appreciate
y'all
you,
are
bro.
good
We'll
because we're
see you.
doing great.
We're doing great.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. Yeah.